My name is Brendan Garino. My job actually right now is a reading intervention specialist. But generally these days I do content making for the Reading Owl Center. Really, I graduated with a degree in special education from the University of the Philippines. I started as a reading intervention tutor or a reading specialist at Word Lab School. And then I took on jobs in the United States now as a special ed teacher. And then eventually I moved back to Davao City in 2019 with training for digital interventions. And so right now, that's what I do for the Reading Owl. I imagine all of these content that has something to do with digital online materials, and that's how we deliver our services to the students of the Reading Owl Clinic. Mainly, dyslexia or specific language disorder or disability, if we base it on DSM, which is a Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders na ginagamit sa mga psychologists, psychiatrists, and other people from the mental health world, an impairment in a specific area of language. It could be specific to reading, specific to written expression, which includes spelling, or it could be specific to math. There are many things that impact dyslexics in school. And in a way, a lot of the teachers have power over these things, no, that they're able to do to help these kids. But because we lack information, we lack training, hence we give big disservice to the kids with LD, undiagnosed or diagnosed man, sa mga klase nila because we don't train our teachers well. In the Philippines, even though we have a law, we have laws that should protect these children na may disabilities, we barely have funding for them. In that sense, yung capacity natin to teach these kids are limited because we don't have access, for example, to well-trained teachers. We don't have a budget for training teachers. You don't get the best kind of teachers, diba? You don't get enough equipment. You don't get access to really good programs. And that's the main problem with learning disability teachers or students in the Philippines. That by itself, ang dami ng mga differences. Dyslexia really is a hidden disability. Wala kayo makita na physical presentations. Because of high IQ, pwede rin sila ka-coast. They pretend murag, they fake it until they make it, until such time na di nila kaya. So, moabot na ang presentation nila kay suicidal, mga high anxiety, stressed out, tapos abi nimo kay unsa lang siya kana mental health issue, pero pag ipangutan nimo how were you when you were younger, kamusta imong pag-eskwela, dito na nimo makita na ginatawag sila, dugay sila gitawag na bugo, tanga, pero naga-coast sila sa school, nagaginapasa sila ba? Pag abot na napuno na jud sila, dira na sila naga-crash. So, luwi sila kay wala sila jud na intervene, mag-intervene na kakaron as an adult na naunsa na mental health crisis na sila. But even then, kani mga gina-intervene na mo karon, mo abot sad sila sa point na ana sad ang presentation ka ng mga depression na ba. Even me, I went through that because I was undiagnosed also. Weird siya na paminaw kay you feel different. You know you're different. Wala ka kabalungano. Nandiyan na question mark na how come I feel so different from others. Tapos ang reason really is that you know you're smart but you don't know why it doesn't come out. It doesn't translate into academic success. I did say that I grew up undiagnosed with dyslexia. And that is one of the primary motivators for me to continue learning about learning disabilities and dyslexia and how I can help young dyslexics in the Philippines. Ang first nako na murag job interview was the school in Manila called Word Lab School. Parang sa Word Lab School, I didn't know that it was a school for dyslexic. So nag-apply na ako and I was like looking at the kids. Na-realize na ako man itong gamay ko. So dito na siya nag-start. It was really, di na siya tuyo. It's really a series of fortunate events. It really is a journey na for me since then to be able to be part of this advocacy for students with learning disability.
Hello, I am Mommy Sal, sick child. He is Francis Val Cedric, and he is undergoing reading intervention with Teacher Brandon sa Reading Owl. Dyslexia, for me, as a mother, I observe with my son that he was not so good in writing and spelling and reading. But also in our experience, there is more than writing and spelling. He is very artistic and talkative. Yan yung na-observe namin. But pag magsusulat na, magsuspelling na, nahihirapan talaga siya. So that is the basic concept of dyslexia for us. Cedric was honor student in nursery, preschool. So, ganyan sa age niya. At par yung development niya sa reading. It was during the pandemic, yes, 2020, na-sense ko na talaga na iba talaga siya. Hindi lang siya yung delay. He cannot memorize poems. If ever may ipamemorize sa kanya, nire-rephrase niya, nandun pa rin yung thought, pero iba na. Iba na siya, hindi na siya poem, pero nandun yung thought. Nahanap ko si Teacher Brandon sa online. Nag-search lang ako, dyslexia Davao, ganun. So, syempre, ito, dyslexia. So, go na. Kinontak ko na, tapos Brokenshire din. Tama-tama. Same sa clinic ni Dr. Isagire, who is our developmental pediatrician. Dito sa Davao kasi parang konti lang yung mga dyslexic na diagnosed ha. And so, we are a small group of people. And knowing other people na dyslexic, at saka yung iba kahit walang dyslexia pero interested dito sa cases na ganito, learning disability at saka dyslexia, ganun. Nakaka-touch na gusto nilang sumuporta sa ganito na cases, at saka na-amaze ako dun sa mga tao na kahit wala silang relative, family member na may difficulty, may disability, or special children, passionate sila na tumulong sa mga bata na katulad nila Cedric. Having Teacher Brandon to have our reading intervention, nakahelp talaga siya kay Cedric. Kasi pag yung second visit na namin sa DevPed, may mga improvements na talaga na nakita. Pag pinapaspell ko siya, na yung kami-kami lang, parang nagle-level up na, hindi na pang grade 1 lang. Of course, Teacher Brandon himself is a dyslexic person. So, yun siya, nakaka-relate si Cedric. At the same time, nai-inspire siya. Greatest lesson I learned from Cedric, siguro is to be patient. Kasi yung mga ganito din na cases, it won't improve in just a matter of time. So, parang lifelong talaga siya na journey. So, we just have to be patient and be hopeful that these children with disabilities actually have a lot of possibilities. Sila is neurodivergent, they think differently, and most probably superior than us. So, yan siya, patience and hope. Hope na yung mga ganitong katulad nila, they will overcome their difficulties and excel.
I've been in this field for a long time, 2 decades now, and it's a mixed feeling in a sense that in many ways that I'm proud of the things that I personally were able to do for myself and for the people that I work with. But at the same time, in over 20 years, murag wala sad kaayo ning dagan ang improvements, no, in terms of education, in terms of awareness. Naunahan na siya sa uban ng mga issues, and yet we remain at a certain level of our understanding when it comes to dyslexia or learning disability, or even in some other mga diagnosis, and that's not good. Something needs to be done about it. We need to sometimes put it on the center front, put the spotlight on these types of people or types of kids. Otherwise, they would remain hidden from the public, and nobody will know really what it is going to be all about, even when, it's really something that's very common in our schools, in our families. I've worked with a lot of students over the years, and it's always very cathartic for me for an experience or see students go through all of these challenges and come out successful, or even when they experience a lot of this frustration. It's very cathartic. It exudes to me a lot of different emotions that fuels this motivation for me to develop a lot of these things for their benefit. And it's really because at the end of the day, it's not just your skill or your ability to read or to spell that's going to define you as a person with a disability. It's really being comfortable with who you are and knowing your capabilities, your strengths and your weaknesses, your talents and the things that you need to work on, that's going to become the basis of your
Francis Basadek Basaris, age 9, grade 4. Back then I couldn't write, but I did. But now I can write again. And also kind of read. Teacher Brandon helped me to type on my computer because he's on online class. Thank you, Teacher Brandon, for helping me to improve my writing and reading.